that the audio?
Yes. Yep. So, other than that, he did real good. Like I said, through here, he was let him work it. You know, that's what.
I try to stop and let him do what he wants to do on the line. Let the line out, because that's what they want you to see for the testing process is work the 30-foot line. So I was like, okay, whatever. You know, personally, I'd just like to be on a little leash, but.
Yeah, well, I prefer that. I mean, it is more practical because when you get out with a dog, you know, you don't have to worry about, number one, carrying tons of equipment with you. I prefer to work them on the flat collar under the arm with a 6-foot lead. I've had trained to do 30-foot leads with both dogs, just so they knew if I needed to go to that, they understood and I could understand how to, you know, what they were going to expect.
You think the best way is like do it like every other time or something, or every couple times just throw a short leash one in there to kind of...
You can. I would, especially as getting certifications, you're going to have to sort of, you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If they're looking for that 30-foot lead, I would make sure that you can work him on the long lead, throwing the short lead in as needed, and then as you get close to certification time, you can always go back to the 30-foot lead. Maybe actually, you know, as you're leading into that, if you're doing a track a week or 2 tracks a week leading into that, you know, probably 5 weeks or so, or say 5 to 10 sessions, go back to the long line just to make sure that you're reading everything correctly. Because there is some different things that you do with a shorter line. You know, you are controlling the dog more, so you have to be a little bit more...
Well, the other thing is, just for me, is him looping around.
Right.
Is a pain in the ass on the shorter line.
Yes.
Longer line.
Yes. And I'm sure he was trained more in man trailing. I mean, if he did have a foundation in Schlitzen or ground tracking, it was very brief. It was sort of like what we do. I mean, these guys start out, their first 2 or 3 weeks of doing it every day is ground-based, and from that point on, we get further and further away from you know, I mean, you're still putting some ground scent into it. Yeah. But, you know, in doing hard surface tracks and stuff, we're getting completely away from the crushed vegetation. So, and he is definitely doing sort of a man trailing. He is going wherever that scent is. He's not just going where he walked. As he's getting in closer, though, what you're seeing, especially with, now, as you came through here when he was out here, there was variable winds, but he handled it pretty well till he got around that bush. But I wanted to see where he was going to go. Wanted to see where he was going to go around the bush. But after he got into about here, then the wind was coming towards me, like over your shoulder as you were tracking down through. And it stayed that way for quite a bit. It only made changes, because now I didn't walk all the way up with him. I walked up on top of this little
bump here,
the grassy knoll.
Yeah, the grass.
I walked up on top of the grassy knoll, and that's where I could still feel the wind watching in his direction coming from behind me. So in the interim, though, it changes direction. So he was picking it up out of the air back here. I'm rather certain of that just by his mannerisms, how he had his head up, moving around. But the ground scent was still stronger, and he's very good. He's very good. It's really, you know, that it's not a detriment to you. He's good. We just have to make sure that you're able to read him, and that he doesn't try to get away with anything, because he does know what he's doing. You know, if he decides he's going to slack up a little bit and you don't catch it, he's, you know, dogs do what's best for dogs. You know? If there's an easier way to do it, they find it.
You ain't going anywhere.
So no, the reading was good. The reading was very good. Just when we start him out, I would start working on getting him under control out of the vehicle, and you set this, you know, you set the pattern, you set the pace for what he's going to do. If he's going to go take a leak, take a dump, you tell him. You know, he may just want to get over there on his own, and that's fine. But start to let him understand that when you tell him get out and take a dump, that means take a dump, and at that point, heel. And now we're going to heel up there. You know, if you're going to use a 30-foot lead, I'd keep him on your short line till you get him up there and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
You know,
Keep it short.
right. Some dogs are okay with putting them on right away. They know what they're going to do, and it's like, all right, this is going to be great, but they're just not running all over. He is very high, very excited, very high drive, and as soon as I tell him, he's like, I'll find it on my own, I'll find it, you know. So that's like I said, I mean, whatever.
On nights, not not my last night, the first night, we went over to the Schlegel Park there. I had to get fuel. So I got fuel, and I thought, well, I'll let him out to whiz. And so we get out and whiz, and he went back in the car and got his ball out, brought his ball over, like, hey, throw the ball for me, you know. And I was like, well, don't lose it because it's dark, you know. And so I threw it a couple times on the macadam, and he'd chase it down and bring it back, you know, and then the last time they threw it, it bounced, and it went off into the bushes. And I was like, go find it, you know. So he's in there. That's a yellow jacket.
Yeah.
So he's there, and he's working the ground and back and forth and through the bushes, and he found it. He brought it out. I was
Very
like,
good.
Good boy.
Very good. When you do that, I mean, I don't know if you gave him a separate command. We, of course, we have track, you know, in English for tracking. Seek for find it, okay? And search for find him, you know? So when you do, I mean, if you want to start to incorporate something, I mean, it depends on what they use for, like, article search type of command.
I just was saying find it, and that's, I mean,
find
that
it's good.
seemed to be,
Find it's good. Whatever.
Because Stopa is track, and Revere is an area search with a bite, and I've been looking for an area search without a bite, you know, but, you know, let be that as, you know, I just figured I'd start out, you know, with a Stopa and then, you know, see what he does off leash.
Right.
Because it seems, you know, the nonverbals and verbals that go along with it seem to be how it's keyed up. You know what I mean? Like you get the long line out, that's an indicator, hey, we're not biting on this, it's just out, we're gonna find something.
Right.
Stopa, you know, good boy, good stuff. And then, you know, the fact that, oh, good boy, you know, at the end of it is...
Right. I'll tell you what, I mean, that way
is... And the same thing, find it, you know, just throw the